Katy, welcome to Parasol again.
Thank you.
This is a fabulous exhibition with so many great works here that you have done over the past 10 years. I truly hope that you are happy.
I'm really happy, yeah. I'm really happy with the show, and it's really useful for me to see the works together. I've never seen them all together in one space. And it's great to see the journey and the progression, and in terms of making new work, you know, where I go from here, it'll be very useful.
Well, 10 years of work is a long time, yet it is also a very short time. It's only 1 decade of practice, and you have done amazingly well. Now, for everybody coming to this exhibition, seeing these works on 2 floors and on several galleries, they will leave Parasol with an amazing amount of energy. Whether they are early works that are so spontaneous or the later works that are more constructed, more built, more looked at how to do it, and has been a process of probably decision making, creating them. They all have something in common, and that is this huge amount of energy in them. Where does this energy come from?
Energy is very important to me, and with the earlier works, you know, back in 2006, I was very concerned with trying to retain the energy and spontaneity that might be in a painted sketch. So I wanted to make the works quite quickly, in one sitting, and they would have, you know, I wanted them to have this spontaneous energy. Once I had done the work in one sitting, and you know, I saw a representational image in the work, and maybe I felt that it was almost there, but not completely. I found it very hard to go back into the work and add paint marks, because to me then, those paint marks felt very conscious and very contrived and very much a different energy to the energy of the rest of the painting. So I found that I started to use a signature. So the painting downstairs called Whiston has a signature in the bottom right-hand corner. And that was a way for me to add paint, because I felt something needed to be added, but it allowed a certain separateness from the paint marks because it was a signature. So that allowed me to go back and add something to the work. And then that's why I started to use collage. So a work like Primal Cat, which is downstairs as well. I did the painting in one sitting. I felt it was almost complete, but there was something that I needed at the top of the painting. And so I used a strip of collage. And again, that solved the problem for me, because the collage wasn't a painted mark. So I wasn't concerned with the energy of that. It was somehow separate, but it allowed me to complete the painting. And so I use the collage now in that way. You know, I can have something there, and then I can use the collage to build and build and build and push the representational element. And I use blue tack, so if I feel I've gone too far or the energy started to die, I can remove some of the collage. And then sometimes, you know, I will use paint, and I will try and push it, and it's all about retaining the energy of the marks, or the energy of the representational image that was found in an accidental way. It allows me to then consciously add to that and complete that whilst retaining the right energy.
What is so extraordinary on the top of it is really that you have no allegiance to anything. You want to put the mark that way, you put it. You want to add a piece of collage, you just pick up something and put it. And I think that's extraordinary, this fact that you just don't have allegiance to anything. And that's what makes the works, in a way, partly so vibrant. Where that this kind of feeling comes from, that you have no allegiance to anything. Here I am, I do what I want, and that's what makes your paintings and your works so refreshing, so extraordinary, so memorable.
I think one of the things that I'm trying to do is forget about conscious thought or intention or audience or any of those things. You know, I've trained as an artist for many years, so I hope that, you know, that's all there without having to consciously refer to it. But I guess I'm interested in the bits that I don't know about, the interior self, the subconscious, the unconscious, whatever you want to call it. I'm interested in opening up a space to allow things to come in that I hadn't planned for, accidents, chance, things that I couldn't really explain. I'm interested in that. And I guess I'm interested in a freedom, you know, I don't want to restrict the work or the paint. I think when I'm working, it's about a constant process of rejecting. Rejecting and rejecting and rejecting and rejecting, turning the canvas around, forgetting whatever representational image I might have seen. You know, we change every day, so every painting is different. What interested me in the last painting may be the same in the next, or equally it may have moved on and be very different, and I find that very interesting. And so each painting is like a new search for something.
I know you do a lot of activities while you are painting. You turn them. If you put a collage piece, you might just tear that collage piece in two and put it upside down, or you do a lot of different things. And the fact that they are small, of course, it's very much closer to you, much more personal, and allows you to do much more. Could you elaborate a little bit of that?
Well, I think obviously conscious intention and skill, as is learnt at school, or college is very useful, but I'm equally, it's like the Hans Hofmann story that was in the catalogue. You know, Hans Hofmann used to go up to students' work and literally rip it down the middle and then realign it, because I think sometimes, I know it's true for me, I can begin to see something in the paint and then I get very hung up on wanting to bring that out and complete it, and I start to will, you know, this figurative image to work, and then if I'm not careful, that will and intention can actually kill the potential for other opportunities, for other ideas, things that are even better than the conscious mind could plan for. And I think that's what I'm open to. You know, I'm interested in allowing for that. And so as I'm working, I will often rip things up, cut things up, take things off, turn things around. You know, sometimes if I have settled on a representational image and I see it's working, just simply by turning the canvas around, it then becomes abstract. You remove the figurative image that you were getting so hung up on, and you just see pure abstract shapes and colour. And that allows me to see which areas of the painting are working, which marks are working, which marks have the most power, which, you know, are contrived or dead, and then I can work on it that way. And, you know, it's basically having the best of both worlds, not allowing the representational concerns to overtake the marks, the effectiveness of the marks, of the actual colours, shapes, you know, as would be in an abstract painting.
Katy, let's talk about colors. In this exhibition, there are many paintings that have vibrant colors. Some are more sedate, and some are really very white, different hues of white and beige, and shall we talk a little bit about the colors you use?
Yeah, I mean, with the earlier works back in 2006, I was taking photographs on my mobile phone or copying existing artworks, and I would literally just mix the colours up that I could see in those works. So that was quite easy. You know, I just followed the colours that were in those paintings. But then as I've stopped doing that, I basically just grab the colours that I have an affinity to in that moment. I don't really think about it very much. I think there is an innate sense of colour that comes through anyway. But I did notice, yeah, the last few years the colours became quite garish and quite carnivalesque. I don't really question it. I just go with what feels right at the time.
Well, people who are going to see this exhibition, they're not going only to admire your work, they're going also to have sometimes fun. There are paintings like Take Me to Barbados, I don't know, Wasabi with Her Tears, and so on. They're amazing titles. How do you come up with these titles?
Wasabi Without Tears was the headline on a newspaper when I got on a train one time. I think it was the Financial Times. I just thought it was an interesting title. It depends. There's another work in the show called Travelling Mercy, and that was a taxi firm that I used to use. The taxi driver had that as a little, what do you call it?
So they don't refer to the painting, the image.
Well, more and more they
do.
They do. Let's see. I mean, for example, Beautiful Boy, which is a more recent work. Mm-hmm. I see a figure, a man in the corner of the painting, so it's very literal.
Oh, the beautiful man up there.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Or rock face with a face. I see a rock face with a cartoon face.
That's right. Yeah.
So more and more they are literal.
Now, you were thankfully included in an exhibition we did in 2009 at Parasol, Visible Invisible. And I have been so always enthusiastic about your work and following it. And we are so lucky now to have over 50 works in this exhibition, which hopefully shows the audience, visitors, what you have been about doing all these 10 years. One of the reasons I'm so interested in your work and has given me so much energy each time viewing it is that I feel like there are three tenets in your paintings. Usually paintings about reference, association, past, something we know, and what we see, present. But in your work somehow there is another tense, is the future. I always have the impression your work is about moving image, almost. There is so much energy, there is so much enthusiasm, or there is so much wanting to go beyond the present tense. That is, at least to me, I don't know whether you feel it that way. And I was wondering whether one day you might actually go into moving image and make films. What do you think?
That is something that I have thought about recently, mm-hmm. which surprised me because I haven't thought of it before. But I know what you mean. Sometimes when I look at the paintings, it seems quite restricted by the edges and you feel it could just spread out. Yeah, you know, maybe that's something to think about more and more for the future.
Katy, thank you very much and congratulations again.
Thank you, Ziba.